Basically what you see on TV is such a lie, and there's a camera guy going around asking people to sing for the camera, started speaking gibberish on live TV. Fuck, I just forgot the name of the song. Then I blurt out this random song title that doesn't even exist. Oh shit. Hello darlings, it's me, Christine D'Amour. Ever since I posted a vlog back in December of 2016 telling you guys that the singer in my Vlogmas intros was me,
I found friends who want me to us, gather me to us.
You guys have been commenting and requesting for me to tell my American Idol audition story time. So I decided that today is finally going to be the day, and this is going to be quite an embarrassing story to tell, which is the reason why it took me this long to get the balls to even talk about it. But as a preface to the story, you guys have to know that ever since I was 14 years old, my focus and my goals were to move to Hollywood and become a famous singer. In 8th grade, I made my parents start sending me to work with a vocal coach. So after school every week, I would walk over to my vocal teacher's studio where I would work with her for an hour every week. Every time I had to go with my parents to the store or to the mall, as a kid, I would wait for them in the car and I wouldn't care how long they took, because you know what I would do when I was waiting for them? I would sing, I would work on my vocal techniques and perfecting every single note from a very young age. And during this time, the biggest influence in my life was Christina Aguilera. Every time I was home alone, I would sing and sing and sing again. And I have to say, personally, I think that I was getting pretty good. Now, come 9th grade, I'm just getting into my first year of high school, and by this point, I'm pretty satisfied with the condition of my voice, so I signed up for my elective class to be choir. And although, as you guys know, I was a very rebellious teen at this point and was just not into school, every single day I was jumping up and down so excited to go to choir. I knew that singing was what I was supposed to do with my life. I ended up learning how to harmonize, and I befriended 2 girls in choir, and we ended up becoming really close friends, and together the 3 of us formed a girl group called Integrity 3. We would rehearse all the time, whether it was at each other's houses or at school. We performed in front of the school, and I was loving the fact that people in our school were knowing us to be the singers of the school. Fast forward 2 to 3 years later, I have my daughter Lexini when I was 16 years old, and I love being a mommy more than anything, which is why I came to the conclusion that my dreams to become a singer was never going to come true. I mean, how could they? Being a singer requires such a huge hustle and dedication, and I definitely wasn't about to be one of those moms that chose their dream over their child. So I quit singing, I stopped chasing my dream, I focused on giving my daughter nothing less than the best that I could give her. So I finished high school, I start college, I start working, and in my early 20s, we all moved to Los Angeles, and I start working as the social media director, marketing for a hair tools brand that was pretty big here on YouTube, but nobody really talks about them anymore. And after 2 long, stressful years of working for this shady as fuck company, which I can't say their name, but I'm pretty sure that all of you have seen them on every single YouTuber and their mom's channel. Anyway, they laid me off about 2 years ago, which is a whole nother story time within itself. When I lost my job, I actually decided to look at this as a very positive sign, and that everything happens for a reason. I actually started watching American Idol during this time, but I also found out that the next season that they would have was going to be the very last season of American Idol ever. And when I found that out, I just felt this feeling in my gut that the stars were starting to align for me. I was seeing this as a sign that maybe the reason that I got laid off was so that I can finally focus on training my voice again, morning and night, every single day, so that I can prepare for this very last chance to be on American Idol. I was beginning to feel excited and those butterflies in my stomach that I haven't felt in a really long time. So from that moment on, everything changed. Morning to night, I watched as many YouTube videos that I could on vocal technique, vocal training, vocal exercises, vocal warm-ups. Now, when I say I worked on my voice intensely for the next 6 months, I mean I put every single extra last dollar that I had into investing in the right training, paying hundreds of dollars to work with an actual American Idol coach, which her name is Pisha McPhee, who is actually Catherine McPhee's mom, who was on American Idol. I paid for vocal intensive boot camp with Felicia Ricci, who has a YouTube channel, and by the way, she is amazing. Every single hour that I was awake, I was either doing a vocal exercise, a vocal warm-up, singing and rehearsing different songs, watching YouTube, studying professional singers, and looking very closely at what they're doing with their bodies, their breath. Every time I was in the car driving, I would only play my vocal warm-ups and practice when I'm driving, Trust me, I was driving Lexini and Chris nuts at this point. And I would be so embarrassed because I know that I was driving my upstairs neighbors crazy too. And one time I actually heard them mocking me. If you're a singer, you know vocal exercises sound so not cute at all. So my upstairs neighbors would hear this, hungay go, hungay go, hungay go, hungay go. And they would hear that all day. Now these vocal warm-ups can get really loud and I have to push myself as hard and as high that I can go, but I have to remind myself that even though I was embarrassed, my neighbors aren't gonna get me a record label, so I just kept pushing. And through all of this intense hard work, my voice was actually starting to get a lot better. But I couldn't help but thinking that I was behind on my training, and I started getting in my own head, telling myself that I haven't sung in over 12 years, and all these people that I'm going to be competing against at the audition probably have been training the whole entire time that I quit singing. Regardless, I still continued training, still with that pesky little voice in the back of my head telling me that I wasn't ready. So the night before the American Idol audition, I ended up choosing a song that I would sing, which was Celine Dion's A New Day Has Come. So I printed out the lyrics and I rehearsed the song all night, and I was pretty pleased with how the song was flowing with my personal vocal abilities. So I felt it was the perfect song, but when I look back now, I'm like, I seriously decided on a song the night before the audition. But I thought, hey, what could go wrong? It's just a few lines of the song that I have to remember. That night I had so much adrenaline that I didn't sleep very much. So for the American Idol audition, they wanted everybody to be there at 8 a.m. already in line. So in order to get a good spot in line, you want to be there at about 6 a.m. So I ended up waking up around 4 a.m. just to get ready and to start driving over to the location. And that morning, my anxiety was through the roof. Like if there's a pill or drug that I could have taken to calm my nerves that day, I don't care what it was, I would have taken it. I was so anxious that I even seriously considered drinking alcohol before the audition, but I didn't end up doing it because I didn't want to take a chance of not being able to realize how I'm actually sounding. So Chris and I got to the audition and there were about already 100 people in line, which wasn't too bad, but I got in line, got my contestant number, and I was also given an application to fill out, which was basically like a questionnaire about my whole life, and asked things like, what song are you gonna be singing? Why do you want to be an American Idol? What sort of drama is happening in your life right now? Do people really support you? Basically questions that wanted to know your whole life story. And you know how when you watch American Idol, they have these dramatic, very sad stories behind their contestants? That's how they pick the good stories. So we're all lined up outside, and there's a camera guy going around asking people to sing for the camera. And some of these people were really, really good. And they sounded like they've been trained for a really long time. And you guys know me with my anxiety. I started getting very intimidated. So the producers of the show ended up having us all sing and do dances as a group together for the camera because they're trying to get those shots, you know, at the beginning of American Idol where it looks like the whole crowd is all pumped up and having a good time and everyone's screaming and singing and dancing. Basically what you see on TV is such a lie because they had us doing that shit, repeating ourselves for like 10 to 15 times over and over again until they got the screaming and the dancing all perfect how they wanted it. So a couple of hours of waiting outside. There's about 1,500 people at this point, and we all end up being let inside of the stadium. And they have us all divided into different groups of the stadium. So Chris and I sat in this one group where I knew that I would be sitting for the next couple of hours until my group was called up to audition. Now the setting of the location, if you've ever been to a basketball game, basically all the contestants were sitting in the seats around the stadium, and the audition location was on the bottom floor of the stadium where like the basketball players play. So on the floor you see that there's a whole row of 10 to 12 tables that had a wall dividing each table. And there was like between 2 to 3 judges per table. So I decided to take advantage of this time that I had to warm up my voice and start working on my song. So while Chris held my seat, I took the lyrics of the song and this actual paper that I found, the actual paper that I took with me that has like a breakdown of the techniques that I have to remember to do. So basically these are the main things to remember while you're singing. You have to have an openness of the throat, a lifted palate, relaxed tongue, using very little of your cord, adding breathiness if you need, picturing the vocal cord narrowing as you get to higher notes. As a singer, you have to remember so many different things that you're supposed to be doing with your body and your vocal area. So I take my lyrics, I take this paper, and I go all the way to the top floor of the stadium. And at the top of the stadium, there's a tunnel hallway thingy that goes around the whole entire stadium that's completely dark. When I went up there, there's like a lot of people already practicing and rehearsing. So I continue walking for a little bit until I find this secluded area that nobody has claimed yet. So I sit, I try to breathe, I try to shake off my nerves, and I start to do my vocal warm-ups as usual and start practicing my song over and over and over again. Remember, at this point, I just started learning these lyrics the night before. So while I was practicing up there, I would still glance down at my lyrics every once in a while when I would forget like a lyric or two. But I was getting pretty satisfied with how I was all warmed up. My voice sounded conditioned. So I tried positive thinking and I tried to block out everybody else's singing so that I wouldn't get thrown off of this confidence that I was finally able to muster up for myself. So I went back down and sat with Chris and I went through my whole list of techniques and checking off the things to remember so that I can remember to have an open throat, a lifted palate, a relaxed tongue, blah, blah, blah. A couple of hours pass and it's finally my group's turn to go down to the audition floor. So we're in line waiting for our turn to get called up to one of the judges' tables. And at this point, my hands are sweating really badly and I'm realizing to myself, shit, this is the first time that I've ever sung in front of anybody. Think about it. I would only sing when my parents weren't home, and I never did open mic or karaoke. How are some of these people auditioning so calm? Then at this point, all these thoughts start racing through my head. They're probably calm because unlike you, this probably isn't their first time auditioning. Or they're probably confident because they've been trained for years. I'm definitely not ready to audition for this. Why didn't I choose a song that I knew like the back of my hand? Moments away from this audition that I've put all of my waking hours preparing for the last 6 months. Every single negative self-talk that I could ever have came rushing into my mind like an ocean bursting through a broken floodgate. So I get lined up with 4 other guys that I'm about to audition at the same time with. And I take one last glance at my song lyrics before folding it up and putting it back into my pocket. So the 5 of us walk up to the judges' table, and the man who was the judge is there to greet us. He starts going down the line, starting from the opposite end of me. He asks each of them a few questions and then asks them to sing. Guy 1 starts, then guy 2, guy 3, guy 4. Then it comes down to me. At this point, my heart is beating a million miles. I can feel a panic attack coming. If not, I'm already in the middle of one. The judge asks me where I'm from and what song I'm going to be singing. Fuck, I just forgot the name of the song. In my head, I'm like, just make up a fucking song title now. No way he's gonna know every single Celine Dion song. Then I blurt out this random song title that doesn't even exist. And I say it's by Celine Dion. Oh shit. I couldn't even remember the name of the song. The judge says, great, whenever you're ready. What the fuck is the first line of the song? What the fuck is the first line of the song? I'm visibly jittering right now. Everybody's waiting for me, and I can't even remember one line of the song. If I pull the lyrics out of my pocket, I'm just gonna look like an idiot that can't remember a song. So I'm trying to remember the melody in my head, and once I finally catch it, I just start spewing out random ass lyrics while singing. And I mean, I sounded like that news anchor that started speaking gibberish on live TV.
Well, a very, very heavy debatation tonight. We had a very Darrison, but let's go to Terrace and look for the bit. They had the pit.
That was me. So embarrassed. I apologized and I told the judge that I just learned the song the night before. And he was actually really nice and seemed like he wanted to give me a fair chance. So he said, it's okay, just sing another song. Oh fuck, he couldn't have just sent me home. I'm clearly in the middle of a panic attack, sir. So I started singing a Katy Perry song. I blocked that out of my mind, so I don't even remember exactly what song it was, but I'm pretty sure it was Thinking of You. All I knew was every single technique and ability, every single thing that I've been trained was out the window at this point. All of the lists of things that I have to remember to do with my body while singing was gone. I was so embarrassed with how visibly my body was shaking. And the only reality that I actually had in that moment was that I sounded like shit. Needless to say, of course, he excused all of us, and I do remember the judge looking at me directly in my eyes before he turned to walk away, and he said, don't stop singing. But in that moment, I didn't care if he was trying to be encouraging. All I could focus on was getting the hell out of there. I made a fool of myself, and I wanted nothing to do with singing ever again. So Chris grabbed me, he hugged me, and tried telling me nice, encouraging things, but I didn't stop to hear it. I just kept darting towards the exit. Walked to the car, and I cried the whole way home. And I told Chris, I give up, and that I shouldn't have wasted my time trying. Basically, I just felt so sorry for myself. And I went and grabbed burgers and beer right after that. Basically, everything that I stopped myself from indulging in because I was trying to keep my voice healthy. So it wasn't until maybe a year later, I think this was, December, when December came around, and I thought to myself, maybe just for the hell of it, I'll record a whole Christmas song and add a snippet of it to the intro of my Vlogmas videos and see what people think. So from the safety of my own home where my anxiety wouldn't get the best of me, I recorded the song, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. And when I told you guys that that was me, I got a whole flood of amazing and loving reviews and feedback. And for the first time in a long time, I felt confident with my singing. I was just always so insecure with myself and worried about what other people would think of me. And then I started to realize why I did so bad at the audition. It wasn't because my voice wasn't ready. It was because I didn't believe in myself. My previous vocal coach, Pisha McPhee, used to say that I have a really big voice. But she also knew that I was scared to sing even in front of her. So I remember one day Pisha asked me, what trauma did you go through to make you so nervous to sing in front of people? And at the time I was thinking, why is she asking me this? What does trauma have to do with singing and performing at all? And since discovering my anxiety, I realized what she was talking about. You guys don't know the story with my biological father, but there is a reason why I never felt good enough. And that shit affected me through my whole life and sadly affected my dreams as well. So I'm not gonna let that happen anymore. And I don't want that to happen to any of you. I might still get nervous when I sing at karaoke or in front of people, but I'm just gonna keep working at it until I get over that fear. I may not ever become a professional singer, but at least maybe one day I'll have enough confidence within myself to be able to share my voice with the world. Maybe do YouTube covers. I don't know. Thank you so much for watching, my darlings. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more Storytime videos like this on my channel, go ahead and subscribe and hit like on the video and comment down below letting me know that you want to see more. I'd love to hear everybody else's stories, whether you've auditioned for American Idol, whether you've overcome a huge fear that led to you chasing your dream. Comment it down below. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and please subscribe to my channel by hitting the red button down below. And don't forget to hit the notification bell button as well. That way you're notified of all the videos that are on my channel. And don't forget to follow me on social media as well. Of all my links listed down below. As always, I love you darlings very much, and I'll talk to you later. Bye darlings. Mwah.